Good evening, everyone, and welcome tonight, day number 138. We're pushing up on 9:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:03 p.m. out there in California, 4:03 a.m. in Ukraine. Been a very interesting day. Our man on the street has been traveling. He is currently in the nation of Poland, and in the morning we'll be rolling a pretty large humanitarian supply into Ukraine. So we're thankful for that, and we are going to have him tonight. But I just want to say greetings to you all. Welcome from all over the place. I see you there in Virginia, North Carolina, out in California. Jeffrey Burnett, thank you as always for the moderation. Thanks to all of our veterans. Thanks to all of our active service members and all the smart people that help make this a very intelligent community together. So, folks, without further ado, let's jump right into it and get to it. Tonight, I've got the man. Good evening. Good morning, rather, to you. Good evening to me.
Evening, dear friends.
Yeah, good evening, buddy. It's nice to see you. I know you've been rolling. You're in Poland, and tomorrow, rolling some aid back in to Ukraine. What's
Yes,
in the load?
it will be grains, the mixes, then there should be tea, that will be a lot of different kinds of canned stuff. So, good stuff for helping people to form the food sets and help military.
This is the food run.
Correct. And there will be the other part with the tactical medicine.
Okay.
And I will share it a bit later, what kind of medicine we'll have, what the Israeli bandages and so on.
All right. Now, you also were able to send me this picture earlier. As you can see, there's the logo on the left of our charity fund name, and just some tasty stuff. We've got our own food line now. So explain to people out here tonight what's in that can. It's tasty.
It's tasty. It's let's say it's a mix of rice with meat, and it's a Ukrainian recipe after a lot of tests and special certificate official from government that it made according all requirement for quality products.
Beautiful. And folks, this is not a food line we've started. This is our way to serve people by giving them food. And if you look there,
for sale.
It's not for sale, but you see the QR code, the QR codes where they can get more information, how we can help more and more. So we're trying to use all available technology. So let's start here tonight. Thank everybody. We thank you for giving. Probably by Wednesday, I'll have some further updated numbers, and we have our auction coming up in a couple of weeks. We're making some movement. So thank you to everyone for not only being here to learn and stay updated, but also giving financially.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much. It wouldn't be possible without all the partners, all the friends, all the supporters.
Correct.
For us to go and to do a lot of work.
So thank you to everybody. All right, well, let's jump right into it. I know you're going to have a short night, short morning, and you'll be rolling. So let's make sure that you are able to at least get a few hours of sleep. We'll start here. Want to update everybody on Chasiv Yar. The total of killed last night, 24 hours ago, was 15, and now we're at 30. And just very, very sad situation. The gold star there on the map represents the location of Chasiv Yar. We're going to come back to this region in a little while, Jaka, but I just wanted everyone to be updated on that. Now, how about this? This is, we're going to look at some tactical things first, and then I've got some thoughts that we're going to talk about. But This is Nova Kakhovka. This is in the occupied Kherson region. I have a green check mark in the upper right-hand corner. And right before we went on the air tonight, we were discussing 6 letters. And you were even getting some, there's some, I don't know, you were talking about the way Russian military is replying to some of this, but I'm going to give the letters and then let you talk about it. And then I've got a little video, just a little, somebody was leaning out of their window and able to catch it from Nova Kakhovka. But the 6 letters are HIMARS. How's it working?
It's good. And we have a lot of jokes over it here, and even between Russians, they already discuss it. Okay, Ukraine got just 4 HIMARS from United States, and it's already doing almost 20 warehouses.
Yes, in fact. Since you said that, Nova Kakhovka, huge munition dump just a little while ago struck, and you can tell. I know we've got smart people in here that are military guys, and they help identify for the community. Like that definitely struck a building because there was no after explosion, so that was like a residential target. Well, this was not a residential target, and this is not Russia striking Ukraine. This is Ukraine using some HIMARS to take out a munitions depot, Nova Kakhovka, just a few hours ago. This one's obvious. I think a lot of stuff just blew up. That is quite the mushroom cloud. But what that means is those munitions can't be used to kill Ukrainians.
Yes, it's saved lives. It saved houses.
That saved lives.
Saved hospitals.
That's correct. So we're very thankful.
It makes this picture even better.
Correct, because lives are being saved. All right, I want to move on to the third one, and we'll click through. Let's see. Boom, right here. Lithuania increased the pressure today on Russia by saying not only are we going to continue with our blockade, but now that you're talking so big, we're going to increase it. So now they're even blocking other products, wood, alcohol, cement, infrastructure materials. I'll tell you what, Lithuania, they're being very, very strong. We're thankful for that.
Yes, this is like they are the David against of Goliath.
It is David against Goliath. Now I want to actually go here once again. Last night we talked about this. We told what President Zelensky said, and it was restated again today. This is 2 days in a row. South, get ready. We are getting ready to unload. Now, with that said, I've got a little bit of video here from UATV. I'll roll that. Then we'll come back and discuss it. But Ukraine's coming, bud. They are coming.
Russian occupiers continue to cynically shell civilians and infrastructure in the Donetsk region. Most of the shells were launched towards the Bakhmut district. A grocery store, private houses and apartment buildings, a house of culture and administrative building were destroyed. At least 2 people were killed and 5 more were wounded. Rescuers continue to remove the debris of a destroyed 5-story building in Chasiv Yar after a missile attack on the 9th of July. 18 people have been killed, 6 have been rescued. Up to 20 people, including a child, may still be under the rubble.
Everyone who gives orders for such strikes, everyone who carries them out targeting our ordinary cities, residential areas, kills absolutely deliberately. After such strikes, the killers will not be able to say they did not know something or did not understand something. Punishment is inevitable for every Russian murderer. Absolutely everyone.
The debris removal is also underway in the city of Kharkiv. A Russian missile hit a 6-story building in the morning of the 11th of July. An elderly woman was rescued. Information on casualties is still unavailable. Russian troops continue their attempts to fully occupy Donbass. The enemy shelled the positions of the Ukrainian military in the Donetsk region in several directions at once. The enemy assault efforts resulted in failures and losses of manpower and equipment.
The occupiers completely failed their combat reconnaissance in the direction of Mazanivka and retreated with losses due to the skillful actions of the Ukrainian soldiers. In the Bakhmut direction, the enemy fired using barrel and rocket artillery. The enemy launched airstrikes near Avdiivka and Volodymyrivka. It tried to improve the tactical position near Novoselivka Druga, but with no success, and was forced to withdraw.
Fierce fighting is also underway in the Kharkiv direction. The enemy plans to move closer to the city of Kharkiv, the military administration said. The Russian occupiers are using aircraft and artillery.
The enemy has not captured a single meter of new territory in the Kharkiv region. Instead, our Ukrainian military is trying to further liberate the settlements. Active combat operations are underway in the northern and northeastern directions and in the Izium direction, where the enemy constantly attacks our positions, but suffers losses and withdraws.
The Russian army is deploying its troops to the area of Bilohorivka, Luhansk region. They hope to capture the rest of the territory of the region. However, due to the strong resistance of the Ukrainian military, each enemy attempt to advance results in defeat.
Good job of artillerymen on destroying enemy ammunition depots. The Luhansk region is still holding on. The number of attacks and shelling has decreased and the occupiers are almost powerless without their artillery. Without artillery, they are unable to move forward a single meter.
The Ukrainian military carried out at least 11 strikes against Russian military facilities using American HIMARS multiple launch rocket systems during the past day. They destroyed a military unit in the city of Kherson and 4 ammunition depots in different districts of the region. There was also some success on the battlefield.
The confirmed losses of the enemy are 15 military personnel and more than 60 units of equipment. This includes 57 armored vehicles and automobile equipment, command and staff vehicles, as well as anti-tank and anti-aircraft missile systems.
President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky has already ordered the military command to deoccupy the south of the country, the Ministry of Defense said. A special plan is already being developed. The army of 1 million people, which will be equipped with Western modern weapons, will be engaged. Reported by Roman Smoler, Alexander Belov, UATV News.
So there you have it. That's really a full, good overview. With a couple of things I wanted to take from that was right at the very end. They're stating it openly for the world to hear. It's not private information. Zelensky stated again, we're coming for the South. So we know that's an adjustment in the strategy where they're being very bold. Secondly, we were able to hear about the HIMARS. Thirdly, much talk about Kharkiv and the strike there. We're actually going to talk specifically about that in a little while. So, Zhenya, you're Ukrainian, you take a look at a report like that, there's some good news in there. Ukraine's doing a good job.
Yes, it's good news, and we wait for more news like that. And there is a reason, and the reason is not surprising. The reason is we got some help, we have some success.
Let me ask you this. If you had this kind of help and even more, day 30, this war would look different.
our cities wouldn't be like that, like we have it now.
Well, we're going to talk
And
about those in a moment, and I have some video also for tonight about some of these cities and the devastation. You're right. Many thousands of lives would have been saved. Cities would be standing. You know, we wouldn't know the ultimate end. We can't predict the future. But looking backwards, if Ukraine had weapons early on, things would definitely be different. Here's something that rattled Kyiv's chain today. You understand that slang? They got angry, and they got angry because of this. I just cut out the top, but Putin signed a decree making it easy process for all Ukrainians to come and receive Russian citizenship. It was prior for Lugansk and Donetsk, but they made it for all of Ukraine a slap in the face. And Zelensky and Kyiv today, the word is they condemned it, that you would even consider, you know, saying this to the citizens of a sovereign nation. You're Ukrainian. What's your thought on something like that when the attacking president says, I'm going to make it easy, just come join our nation?
Yes, he's using he's using fear, people's fear, and when people are being scared in that kind of situation, they can do sometimes different decisions, and sometimes can even try to be on sit on the two tables at the same time.
Yes.
Or two chairs. And what do I mean by that? That people can apply for people under the shelling. They can apply for just in case for that kind of passport. And I believe that this is the time when Ukrainian government has to make a strong decisions around not playing with that.
Well,
for Ukrainians.
they did today. You know, typically what Kyiv has done, and when we say Kyiv, we talk about all the national government, of course, starting with Zelensky. But what Kyiv has typically done has ignored some of the ignorant things that have happened through 138 days. But today, they didn't ignore it. They came out angry, condemned it, and said, how dare you offer free citizenship or expedited citizenship for our citizens? That's crazy talk. So you're correct. They are moving on it. You know, once again, 24 hours ago, you and I were talking about something feels different this week. We see Ukraine making good pushes with the HIMARS. We see Russia as well getting aggressive. We're going to talk about something that's interesting in just a second, but now we see Kyiv being aggressive in their talk now.
Yes, and I think in
early part we wasn't. Well. Do what?
Yes.
You think
the
what?
Plans, the aggressive plans, we will see it. Now it's the time.
Now's the time, and let's think about this. A couple of things I want to think about. For Zelensky to come out and be as aggressive as he has over the last 48 hours, I don't think he's the kind of leader that's going to just say that and do nothing. So I'm expecting some things this week. That's kind of the feeling we've been talking about. Secondly, I personally think, and I actually had Medic Trevor, one of the guys in the community here who is a medic, American. He says, listen, are these guys thinking about the winter yet? Are they thinking we're going to be cold quick? It's already pushing mid-July. I said, oh, yeah, they're thinking about it. But when you think about it from a strategic standpoint, If it was winter right now, there'd be some people dying, freezing to death. So I think maybe even Ukraine is considering, you know what? We've got to crank it up here because summer's going to be gone quick and fall is coming. Now, I want to go here. Yeah, go ahead.
And you remember the word of Putin that when he said, "Hey, about our fighting, Russia didn't start fighting yet." So our artillerists made a joke after 20 of their munition dumps
have been destroyed.
And they said, "Hey, it's 20, so we didn't start yet."
But you know, it kind of appears that way. And, you know, we smile, we try to be happy as we can. It's a terrible time. And lots of people have died, and infrastructure and cities are destroyed. But it's almost like we've gotten to this point in the war, and now both nations are going to try and get more aggressive. Now, that brings me to this place. I'm tired of talking about this nation, okay? I just want you to know. I'm tired of talking about them. But this nation's going to play a factor in this war. Whether it's a distraction, whether it's a resource for allowing Russian military to come through, but this is on the 11th of July. You can read the map up at top. We've got the A-50s flying in the air now. We've got an increase of Russian Air Force. We've got more munition coming in, more supplies coming in. Lukashenko's trying to be tough. We see Lithuania up there. Of course, I've got Ukraine shaded in the blue on the southern border. And today, members of the government in Minsk made a direct threat against 3 cities in Ukraine. They said they would be striking. Their first targets would be Rivne, Kyiv, and Chernihiv. So we see this talk. And I know that we're really not worried about Belarus, to be quite honest. We would demolish them. But, you know, the more people talking about fire, or I think there's a saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. And the more they just keep talking, and you know it's Putin talking through them, we have to pay attention to it. We have to pay attention to Belarus.
I believe it's a good time for international society to stand strong against the Belarusian position and their role in this war, and to make special announcement, let's say.
Yes.
That because sometimes it looks like, like Belarus is, Belarus and Lukashenko trying being neutral, but they're not neutral.
They're not neutral. That's my point.
War. Why Russia has some sanctions and not the same level Belarus? And I believe not just 2 of these. Any other country who support, I mean, every day, look, when we have a airplane crash, about 300 people died because of airplane crash, whole world are discussing it.
Yes.
When we have it every day in Ukraine.
Paul Massaro, I have quoted him a couple of times. He is in Washington, D.C. He's a part of the research behind foreign relations, battles, infrastructure, and very well known. I was going to put his tweet up, but I didn't. But he said today, okay, world, to support what you're saying, The time's way past. We need not only to release, but to support Ukraine in counterstriking into Belarus, into Russia, and into anywhere else they need to protect their land. It was very, very bold statement that came out. Now, you made the statement that leads perfectly for where I want to go next. You said whether it's Belarus or any other nation. Well, we've got breaking news tonight. Right before we're going on the stream tonight, we've got breaking news with another nation. The nation would be in the bottom right, Iran. Of course, China at the top, Russia there on the left. We know they have relationship. We know India's working. We know Belarus. But now we have another player coming in. This information actually was released just a few minutes ago by the United States. By the breaking news, it actually said, coming from the White House, but it's coming from America. And the news is Russia is negotiating with Iran on weapons and drones to supply the Russian military for the war in Ukraine. So this is the trifecta, buddy. Russia, China, Iran. And now we see that potential coalition coming together. That's all I have on it because it's just coming out now. We will see what comes from it, but it's not coming from some reporter. It came right from Washington, D.C. So hope I said I hope there's some legitimacy to it. I hope there's not legitimacy to it, but not coming from a reporter and coming from the White House. I'm sure in this situation, this is probably credible that here's another nation looking to support.
And this nation, if the world will be silent, maybe more nations.
Exactly.
Because Russia is looking for, let's say, their supporters, the same kind mentality, same kind, countries, let's say. And
so the president of Iran, I discussed him many times on my programs before we started following the war each night, Ibrahim Raisi. His nickname is the Butcher of Tehran. He's a very bad guy. And this would be a bad combination, bud, with two dictators. And then, of course, you throw China in the mix, Lukashenko in the mix, whatever Turkey's doing, it gets a little strenuous. So whether it's Belarus, whether it's Iran, whether it's any other nation, if you're supporting this, you are guilty. Now, I want to jump into Kharkiv.
Yeah.
Earlier on that video report, we had the notice where Kharkiv is under constant bombardment, and even this morning, the attack happened on that building. They had to rescue people, and this little granny became kind of famous because she's all dirty and dusty, but they had to rescue her. So I've got video of that. Here's Kharkiv, and I'll show a couple of things here, and then we'll discuss Kharkiv. This is this morning.
Мужчина, выходите оттуда быстро, выходите оттуда вообще. Так. Да мы видим, пока не это сам.
You can hear her yelling inside.
Зрозуміло вас повністю, 21-й прибули до місця.
О, все. Все, спокойно, спокойно.
Выводите вам сюда в сторону, дайте выйти.
Сейчас. Все, нормально? Да. А ну, держитесь, не бойтесь, не будет. Все нормально, не спешите. Это другой комнаты вашей нет.
Целая? Что
Жильцы! Жильцы!
And of course, they get her out, and she's become, pretty well known now because they rescued her. You could see her dirty there. She was not injured, but the reality is she was sleeping in her room. Her building was struck, and it's happening every day in Kharkiv. Now, with that, Zhenya, I just want you to explain to people, and then I'm going to show another video clip, and this one's translated with Kharkiv. And I know it's kind of hard to maybe understand, but I've got the red line there, and of course that's the border with Russia. And then we see where the front lines have really not moved between Ukraine and Russia. It's just constant shelling, but unfortunately it's in the range of the shelling and the artillery, and Kharkiv is just being bombarded. It's a huge city. We know now 100% that Russia wants it. They've already developed new whatever you guys call them, the markings for your city, the whatever, your flag, whatever. Regardless, Russia wants it. So how close, and I know it's like 30 kilometers, but it's nowhere from Kharkiv into Russia, right? If there's no war and you're just going across the road and driving to Russia, it's right on the border, basically. It's close.
Yes, some minutes.
Some minutes. And Russia is just up north of Kharkiv, of course, is Belgorod. And we know lots of strikes from Belgorod. And we know that there's lots of infrastructure there. Let me show you this, and then we'll discuss it. Here you go.
Харьков находится всего в 30 километрах от границы с Россией. Долетают сюда не только баллистические «Искандеры», но и снаряды ракетных систем залпового огня, например, «Ураганы». В пригороде же по позициям украинских военных стреляет все, имеющееся у российской армии. В руинах. Здесь почти нет уцелевших домов, но живут люди.
Это мой дом.
Меня контузило. Я месяц ничего не видел глазами. Лежал вот там в подвале. Тоже спасибо соседям. И пить давали, и это. Жена умерла.
Мы были у одних людей. Но у меня болеет сын. Очень. Их не устроило, что он ночью может чай дать попить, может это самое, понимаете. Мы переехали в другое место. Там то же самое. Пришлось вернуться, да.
Как без отопления, окон, а часто и без стен будут выживать зимой, сейчас в разгар лета никто не думает.
Зайдешь, убьют. Вот так. Мой сын служит в армии. Если бы у них было много боеприпасов, Россию бы мы задавили. И я говорю, Шевченко Виктор Алексеевич, на весь мир, мы задавим Россию, потому что мы патриоты, мы живем на своей земле.
В Харькове на сегодняшний день разрушено около 4000 зданий, и с каждым днем их число растет. Попадают снаряды в школы и гимназии.
Фонетика, орфография. Смотрите. Что им надо было здесь? Какие секреты? 47-я гимназия, где учился мой сын. И внук должен идти в эту школу. А видите, что сделали? Так что, твари, самое настоящее, не знаю, слов нет просто.
Що можна відчути, якщо ти тут вивчився?
В пустых, частично разрушенных корпусах Ирина собирает уцелевшие вещи. Один из последних ракетных ударов по Харькову пришелся по ее альма-матер, педагогическому университету.
Okay. 4,000 buildings. Can you confirm that people are living in damaged buildings?
We were bringing the food to one off after 3 months, after 92 days, and we we got the dress. We had being when we were in Kharkiv, and we got to that. It was 7th or 8th floor, and woman did open us, and then she shared the story that, hey, because of the shelling, the part of the wall from the one side of our apartment and the other side, opposite side, from both sides, so partly our walls are destroyed, and it was a cold time. So because it was too cold, we decided to lock the doors and live in the corridor. So I was living in the corridor over 90 days because the elevator didn't work, and praise God that the neighbors were bringing time to time something. But now you brought me a lot of, and tomorrow will be first day when I will see a street. I will go outside.
In 92 days.
In 92 days. Because
so people,
she said, I cannot walk because of my disease, and having no elevator, so
forget
I
it.
cannot. So yes, people are living there. Even sometimes they're using polyethylene to seal partly broken wall, and because they don't have hope or they don't know where to go.
Just think about this for one moment. 4,000 buildings. And
Just
by now, it could be 4,005, 3. The number's not going down. And until this is an area where Russia is going to have to be pushed back a long way, because they can reach us so easily, unfortunately.
Okay, just for a minute, let's visit in the mind the Mariupol. When they were bombarding it, destroyed it, then they made a super celebration with the dances and the rites and a lot of promises. And when was that? A month ago? And now, what do we hear? What these people hear? We recommend, the administration recommends, to leave Mariupol, because if we can restore water, at least maybe not pure clean water, but at least some water, it's probably yes, maybe even partly we can restore part of electricity, not as good, but okay, but no heating, no propano gas systems. So we would recommend, and they hiding the words, people who expect the winter with no heat, leave the city.
As always, we're on the same page. You roll me perfectly into this.
Without food, water, gas, electricity, and completely unsanitary conditions. This is how Severodonetsk lives now. The city is on the verge of a humanitarian disaster. This was reported by the head of the Luhansk Regional Military Administration, Serhiy Haidai. Russian troops have destroyed or damaged almost all critical infrastructure by shelling. Meanwhile, the occupiers are not going to rebuild anything. There is no centralized water supply, gas and electricity. There is a big problem with the sewage system. Treatment facilities do not work, as well as plumbing stations. Sewage is accumulating. Add to this the temperature of the air, which is now outside, and also the stench from the dead, those buried in the yards, and many of those who remain in apartments and entrances, as in one of the high-rise buildings in the new districts. A humanitarian disaster awaits Severodonetsk. Serhiy Haidai, head of the Luhansk Regional Military Administration, on Telegram. There are big problems with water and food in captured Mariupol and Liman. Mariupol residents have not received humanitarian aid from the Russian occupiers for a month. People are dying because of the lack of medicine. There is a shortage of drugs for cancer patients, people with diabetes, tuberculosis, and thyroid problems.
It's been a month, even more than that.
What kind of drugs do you need?
Well, we need blood pressure medication and painkillers.
At the same time, Russian invaders continue to violate the rights of Ukrainians in the temporarily occupied territories and expand the network of filtration camps. The U.S. mission to the OSCE found...
And they go on and talk about the OSCE, but I wanted to roll the first part of that video clip because it says exactly what you just said. 30 days, even they quoted 30 days in Mariupol. You know, there's the view. There's no help coming. None.
Abkhazia.
Abkhazia, exactly.
This is reality. They can promise whatever. They can lie to people anyway. So it's like, I think we need to care, helping people not to stop, not to be tired, and helping people the way we can. And this
Exactly.
is what we do.
We're going to do everything we can. Final thing I want to give tonight, and it's going to base off, I've got one last clip I'm going to show, and I didn't translate it on purpose because you can speak over it. It's very easy. But this is the east. Of course, the blue circle there is Seversk, where we were, where you just were. The blue box, light blue, is going to be the first push, and then the big blue, Slavyansk and Kramatorsk. This is a very hot and dangerous area, of course. There's no stopping of the shelling. Right in this area is also where Chasiv Yar is. This is where Bakhmut is. This is a centralized focus of Russia. Of course, this is why Ukraine is going to make a huge push in the south. But over on the far right, I have Severodonetsk circled. Now, on the video we just looked at, you saw some pictures of Severodonetsk. Everything's destroyed. Sergei Gadai said no electricity, no sewage is destroyed, no water, nothing. Dead bodies in buildings, the stench. Severodonetsk is a disaster, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Severodonetsk is a disaster. Let me ask you this, and then I'm going to play this video, and I'm going to leave your mic hot and on things that need to be translated, because I understand it really clearly. The Russians on this one's pretty easy. It's unbelievable. But before we watch the video, and this is where we'll close out tonight, we've heard from Sergei Gadai. You've been right up close to Severodonetsk at Seversk. No, but just tell us one more time. Is Severodonetsk destroyed?
Yes, you can see it.
Yes, we can see it, but we want to hear it. Please don't take this the wrong way. Right now, other than our trapped Ukrainians that are still there, is there anything beautiful in Severodonetsk? Other than our people?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It's leveled. Okay. You got it? Does everybody have the basis? Severodonetsk is leveled. Why did I set the stage like that? Because, Zhenya, I'll leave your mic hot. Translate what you want.
Смотрите, вывеска города Северодонецк. Начало положено, я скажу.
Ехали, да, я обратил внимание. Я уже сегодня знамени Победы уже поклонился. Вообще красиво сделали.
Вывеска Северодонецк. Видите, уже покрашено.
It's a good start. They commented. They change colors.
It's a good start to the city.
We were waiting. Yes. He says, praise God, it happened. He says, it's not just joyful.
Или тем людям, которые это и освободили с одной стороны, и с другой стороны.
He said, we're really thankful to people who liberated
liberated
this
Severodonetsk.
place
Поэтому
is free.
спасибо огромное всем тем освободителям, которые освободили.
Thank you.
Очень им благодарны и очень надеемся,
Those people who brings this kind of freedom.
наш город будет восстановлен и снова станет
And soon our city will be restored
городом,
and
которого мы всегда любили и будем
will come again beautiful as it always been.
Спасибо воинам
Thank you.
и спасибо воинам Российской Федерации.
To
Thank you to the Russian
Lugansk and
Federation.
Donetsk.
Ну, они этого хотели, чтобы мы были свободны, были в России.
Мы это
They
говорим
wanted
от
for
имени
us
себя.
to
Мы
be
это
free.
говорим практически от всех жителей города
And we
Северодонецка, которые здесь
say
также
not from our
всё
names,
это
but
время,
from all the
находились
people
под можно сказать,
Северодонецк,
бронтанным огнем украинской артиллерии, выстояли,
who've been
выдержали.
under
Вот, и слава Богу,
the shelling of
сейчас
Ukrainian
большинство
army.
людей сюда, они бы сказали вот то же самое, что сказали.
That's why I had to end with that tonight, because you probably can't go any further. So number one, Jacob, that's on RIA News in Russia. What planet are those two gentlemen on? We could not give a better example. They repainted the sign. Thank you for delivering us. We speak for all of the people, and our city will be beautiful again. You got leveled by the Russian army, and what
dead bodies are still there
in the
on
streets,
the ruins,
in the buildings, in the
and
doorways.
Yes, and he says, "Praise God, it happened."
Yes, praise God, it happened. There's the truth, folks. You come here each night. We're at day 138 for the truth, and we just show you the truth. It's unbelievable, and that's why I ended with that one. I didn't even want to translate it, because unbelievable what they're saying. Unbelievable. We just paint the sign red, white, and blue, and everything's golden. That's where we're at. Well, let's finish on a good topic then. Continue to pray for Ukraine. Thank you for giving. Thank you for being faithful. We will not give up.
Yes, and we will continue stand together until God will give us a victory.
We will. And we're very thankful to this community. Thank you for all that you do, Zhenya. Thank you for everything that each of you in the community does, the supporting with finances, the supporting with prayer, the giving. We're showing you each night the best we can, and telling the truth and doing our best. So thank you very much. And next update in 23 hours. You guys are fully updated on day 138. Jacob, get some rest. Safe travels. Get that stuff across the border.
Now it's my turn to say from the name, not just my own, but from the name all the people who got help, who being accommodated, got food, who got help in Khmelnytsky or other places, who has food at this moment at his houses in Siversk under the shelling. They have something they can eat. So thank you very much. I'm saying it to you, to all the partners, from all of these people. Thank you very much.
Amen. Couldn't say it any better. We're making a huge impact in this nation that we love very much. All right, my man. Get you a little bit of sleep and get back in Ukraine with that stuff. Folks, we'll have the next update for you in 23 hours. A good night to all.
To all, a good night.